Live.
It's okay. Kevin's like, fuck that.
They I don't know. It has the break, the way the loop works. It's like they didn't line it up so it was, there's that fraction of a second. Anyway, I digress. How are we doing?
Good, man. We got new studio Phish, even though they're not releasing it as Phish. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of like whimpered onto the scene, but I think that's kind of a cool thing that only like Phish would do. You know what I mean? Like they know like the hardcore intensity of the fan base and like the way the internet works now, and kind of just like put it out there without a big formal announcement and see it catch fire. I don't believe that it was an accident that like Spotify fucked up or something. I think they planned it to like come out.
Oh, it's on Apple. It's on YouTube Music. It's on Apple. So it's
no, I don't have Spotify. I have it through Apple, but so we both listened to it. We're gonna break it down a little bit right now. I guess let's start with big takeaway, big picture. I really enjoyed the studio mix of it all. Like I think it was a really fun project and was happy to have it. Right.
I'm wondering if it was a demo. It was like the rehearsal demo where they laid out the song before they played it live from last year, and they took that and mixed it into an album.
You could be. I mean, one thing I noticed was a lot of the balances were off, and I couldn't tell if that was just because it wasn't expertly produced or if they were doing it on purpose to get like a certain like effect or feel, right? Because there was some song. Yeah, because there were some sorry, the reverb coming in. There were a couple of songs where the distortion where it felt like your headphones are blowing out or something, right? Like they mixed it with the peaks. And normally when you have like a legit producer and like other Phish productions, you don't have that.
Right.
So I don't know that I thought it was done on purpose as like an artistic choice, but maybe what you're saying is like it was actually like a demo or something that they just released for fun.
It was a 2-track recording that they just made while they were rehearsing the songs the day before or the week before.
It was way more than the 2 tracks. They played
no, I think they took that and then built on it. Let's go fuck around with it. Like maybe we'll find out find out that Paige is the one who went and played with it and added keyboard flourishes or that's
definitely what it reminded me of. Like anyone that's ever been in a band like that are just like producing their own music, you can really go overboard once you figure out how to do that shit. With like, especially these days with like everything being digital and like you could just layer on a million things and like there was no real editing or there was no one in the room being like, oh, don't add this, don't add that. But it was fun for that reason, right?
I'm wondering if I'm right with it was the rehearsals, if he used that green BC Rich guitar. And that's what we're hearing on the recording as opposed to a Languedoc, which is what he's always...
It didn't sound like the Languedoc. I mean, I'm not a guitar tone expert, but...
I'm not. And who knows with all them damn pedals he has.
It was a very synth-heavy recording, too.
And they were short. They were sketches.
Some of them were. Some of them gave us full 2-3 minute songs. Do you want to go down to the top?
But Knucklebone Broth Avenue, we'll take that. It was the first one. It's 3:40, 3:39 on the album, 10 minutes live.
Right.
When they debuted it live. So I'm wondering if they're like, all right, this is the basic structure of the song. And then they went out and,
you know what that is to me? That is the Sci-Fi Soldier as a band, right? Because that's where they listed as the artist. Wrote a 3.5 minute song, and then on Halloween was Phish playing their version of the Sci-Fi Soldier version of the song.
You're good at these conspiracy theories,
right? It's kind of the Cosva effect,
right?
Dude, Knucklebone Broth Avenue is such a fun song, though. I hope that gets more heavy rotation going forward. I mean, I know I don't have the stats for me. I think it came up a couple of times this past tour. But the groove is so much fun. It's a little too synthy for me. It's very synth, but the groove is so much fun.
It's got a fun lyric. I'm not being told to set my soul free or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I can get more down with that.
And speaking of getting more down and super fun songs, Get More Down is another 1-2 punch to start this off. That's probably the highlight of the album for me. I'm not surprised they chose that as the namesake.
And it's right, yeah, they Get More Down. Yeah, exactly. But another 10-minute live, 3.5 minutes on the album. Yeah. But I like your idea of that. Are we going to run through all these? Because Egg in a Hole sounded like the album. It sounded good. I think that's what some of the distortion was.
Dope and heavy distortion. I mean, honestly, people like, we can run through it. I mean, it's only a half hour. Go fucking listen to it. Yeah. Like, you can hear our talking head takes on it, and we appreciate it. Actually, you should keep coming back and
like
the video and subscribe.
Ring that bell, baby.
But yeah, no, like we'll give you our takes on it, but honestly, just go listen to it. I saw on Twitter it was mixed reactions. Some people were real happy and thrilled that we got this surprise because nobody knew it was coming. Other people are like, oh, it's a joke. You were saying on Facebook, people were just like tearing it apart,
Facebook. Right? It was fucking jaded vets over there. Some of those Facebook groups. I had to take my toxic suit off and run. I didn't need to hang out with that.
Get the hell out of there, man.
Because it's going to be Thanksgiving soon.
It is. And Thanksgiving is something that probably didn't need to be on this.
Well, it was 49 seconds, right? And it has lyrics. I don't think they sang lyrics. I think it was just like a little bit of the intro or the lyrics.
It was just a weird transition piece. And somebody, when Sigma Oasis came out, I remember might have been Tom Marshall or somebody over on Osiris or someone, or maybe even you, because you have a lot of witty takes, was saying how one of the best things Phish did as they evolved as a band was to take out those playful, weird transitions that were fun and fishy, but really ultimately only detracted from the albums. And I remember hearing it. And then when I listened to this, and I was really getting into these first 4 or 3 songs, right? Knucklebone, Get More Down, Egg in a Hole. I was like, oh, I was loving it. And then Thanksgiving just completely pulled me out of the album. I was like, all right, unnecessary. And this was the worst mixed track too, by the way, when I was talking about like the really bad distortion. But whatever. It's easy to, you don't even have to skip it though. By the time you like open your phone to hit next, it's already done.
It's done. And then Clear Your Mind, which is fun.
Yeah, did you like that one?
Frankenstein, yes.
I think out of all of the tracks on this, what are we calling it? An album? Or I guess it's an LP now. All of the
olden times, it would have been perfect. A half hour, 15 minutes each side. That's what old albums were,
And I like that they went back to that. And I think Clear Your Mind was the most Phish, or at least the most what I want Phish to be. Like, you could argue, modern Phish, but it's a very fishy track, and I think it's a really fun track. And then we have another meh transition.
Instrumental, right. But the Ninth Cube, another song that was 5 minutes live, 51 seconds. I guess it's just, maybe it's a footholder because they wanted to keep all the titles.
I have my comic here. I was like, let me do some on-air research. I'm wondering, like, when they wrote this, how much of it was musically driven and how much of it was canon driven, because it did feel, I remember watching it live, like they were throwing in a lot of stuff to tie in Gamehenge and Sci-Fi and Cosmod Vox and other things. And I don't know, like, I think Cosmod Vox worked really well because it was very musically driven.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I like Sci-Fi Soldiers, but I wonder if maybe it fell a little bit short because they're almost trying to do too much with it. They're like, oh, we got to fit the Ninth Cubes into the canon. Let's throw a piece in. But then the song really wasn't there. I don't know.
Right.
All right. Now we'll get to what I think is the worst track.
The Inner Reaches of Outer.
Yeah, I wrote a note on. I just wrote no.
It sounds like the title of a Colonel Bruce Hampton song.
Yeah, this was the one that was very like Trey-y, right? Like, well, you said you didn't think any of them sounded Trey-y, whatever that means.
I didn't get any Tole vibes. I didn't feel like I needed to go out and do a kind deed or,
No, but it was definitely Trey singing. I mean, obviously it is, but like, I felt like with all the other tracks, they tried to make it like a unique art piece, right? Like, it felt very like this sci-fi. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Inner Outer or whatever, Inner Reaches of Outer, felt like a Tab solo, like,
to the middle.
Like Trey just singing.
I think that like, I Am Miami sounds like a Mike solo tune.
Oh, kind of. I was thinking Page, but Page Mike, but
the lyric to it. But then, but we're jumping ahead. Don't Doubt Me, probably my favorite lyric on the album. I was a little let down by the delivery. The Genuine Asshole just didn't bite like it does live, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I did, but they went a little spacey with it, which is the only spot in this whole 30 minutes that they actually kind of ironically spaced it out a little bit. Again, terrible mix though. Not great, not a super great
That's why
mix.
I think they were the demos. They were 2 tracks that they just added shit and tried to clean up.
Yeah. But super fun though, right? Like it was a lot of fucking fun to listen to. All right, let's
another Blink and You Miss It with The Unwinding, which again has lyrics different live. It sounded like that they layered this one a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they just took Trey and Page and instead of each one having separate lines.
So if you took out Thanksgiving, Ninth Cube, and Unwinding, I think it's the perfect piece.
I wouldn't. I think it's fine the way it is. You got to have those little interludes there if you're going to have a story album, a rock opera kind of thing, you know?
Sure. Something Living Here, The Return of the Moss Piglets, another super fun groove, really fun song. It's another one I hope. I don't even think this one has come back since Halloween, so I hope it does. You know.
All right, the next one has come back repeatedly.
And for good reason. I got to be honest. When it came on, I was like, holy shit, this is leaps and bounds ahead of everything else that I just listened to. It is the Funk Grandmaster Super King, The Howling. By the way, we have a footy kit that is available, sponsored by Wook Plus. Go over to
Speaking of Howling.
And it's based on The Howling. I think we have a couple more weeks. I think to place orders. So good.
Find Foodie Kits over on Twitter. Bother one of us. We'll point you in the right
Instagram
direction
or whatever. Man, The Howling is so much fun. Like legitimately one of my favorite things they've written in the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow, interesting.
Because when they build it up and then all of a sudden it breaks into
I get it.
The funky dance.
I don't know if I would go that far because it isn't one of my favorite things they did in the film.
That's because you don't dance. I've seen you at the shows. You sit there.
I stood up for that whole second Merriweather show because it rained and you couldn't sit on the lawn in the wet.
Yeah. I stood up for an entire Phish show.
I stood up for an entire Phish show. So
I loved it, man. And then I Am in Miami. What do you think?
It sounds like a Mike tune. Mike has the lead vocal on it on the LP version there. It's fine. It's again, Mike likes writing little punny dad joke things. Yeah.
You know what? Overall, though, I think we both agree this was a fun little surprise.
Any day of the week,
I'll have new music. And it was good. Wow, we actually kind of kept it tight.
All
right, see you next time. Oh shit, can't exit.